I'm your host, Eric. My main man over there, Ron. We are here to discuss Tom Brady and his announced retirement. He said this one is for good. This is for real. We are going to listen to the audio of Tom Brady announcing his retirement, and then we can discuss some of our memories of Tom.
Memories.
Can't hear it.
Nope.
All right, hold on
I
one
guess he
second.
was all choked up.
All right, let's try something else then. I can do it this way. All right, we're gonna be
Don't you love live?
live TV. Yes. Um, Still nothing.
Still nothing. So, you
All
know.
right. Guess we're not gonna be unless we want to watch it on ESPN's broadcast.
Oh, hell no.
Um,
Hell
so
no.
Tom Brady announces his retirement from the NFL after 23 seasons, a phenomenal career. Obviously, what he meant to the New England area and to us. I guess the first question I would ask you, Ron, your thoughts on what he meant to New England, to the obviously this organization, and what he brought to the NFL.
What he brought to New England is just something that you just don't really fully understand until you look at the big scope of the picture. It wasn't just the championships in the NFL, because he brought along with that how to win and gave it to the other local franchises, because they weren't winning until the Patriots started winning. And then the other franchises basically had to jump on board with that philosophy, or else they weren't going to be in the public eye as much as they are now. Because when you look at it, that team atmosphere caught on with the Red Sox and they started winning. Then, obviously the Bruins won a Stanley Cup and the Celtics won a championship. They all brought in that sort of, not necessarily the Patriot way where you just replace and replace and replace, but that team chemistry was a big part of the other teams winning championships. So, in essence, Brady and the Patriots did not just bring championships to the Patriots, they brought championships to the other franchise in the area.
Yeah, look, his competitive spirit, I don't think anybody will ever compare. And I know
No.
there's so many different people that are trying to emulate Tom Brady and create what he was able to do. It was such a mental aspect of his game to say, I have to win. I
Yeah.
must be the best. He never forgot 199, sixth round. It was always something in the back of his mind, no
Yeah.
matter how many championships he won, no matter how many
Right.
times he was to the Super Bowl. That's something you don't see in most athletes today.
That pure desire is is woven in the fabric of Tom Brady. And I have never ever seen anything like it in any sport. No one. Because there's always a letdown when, after you win a championship, there was no letdown with Brady. I mean, it's like he was trying to get his first one every single time.
Yeah, it was just amazing too because once he made the move to go to Tampa Bay, and most people were kind of questioning, okay, who's the genius behind all those championships? And he won another one, and it kind of cemented his legacy as the greatest of all time. People can sit back and question certain things about certain players. There's really no questions with Tom Brady.
No.
It was pretty evident that look, he's the greatest of all time. He's the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah,
He did things that most players wish they could even come close to halfway.
yeah. When you look at, like, the circumstances in those championships, Now, we've said it many times, and we've always had that discussion on how and Belichick is got to be the best coach ever. Like that, there's no question in my mind either. I mean, when you look at the things that he's done to put teams together, and but when you look at it, who was more important? It was definitely Brady because how many times did he change the plays? Because he recognizes things at the line that most quarterbacks don't see, entirely. And I'd say maybe at least 33% of the time he would change plays, and that might be underestimating it. I'd have to go back and look at every single play, but I
I don't think you
mean,
have that kind of time. 23 seasons.
no, no. I mean, that would take forever. But the amount that he changes the plays just just indicates how much he is aware what the other team is doing, and he looks at how the defense is lined up, and he changes the plays. That is recognition that this play is just not going to cut it. We need to change it, and he does it in split second time. And there's no one ever that has done it that well.
Listen, cerebral. I mean, the accolades could go on and on, but yes, his mental capacity to be able to understand what was going on in a game that no defense could really fool him was just a sheer example of his will to win. He wanted to learn every possible thing that he could about football.
Yeah,
I think that's the one benefit when we talk about Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. That's the one benefit that Belichick had is Tom Brady was a sponge.
yeah,
He wanted to absorb everything that Bill Belichick knew about everything. He's Bill, how are they going to play this? If we line up this way, what would you do if you were the defensive coordinator? How would you press it? How would you blitz me? How would you? Because he wanted to understand what the other team was going to
right.
do. And the fact that there's a player out there that could honestly be a coach on the field, that was Tom Brady. He
Yeah,
was a coach on the field, and he motivated those guys to want to learn even more and do even more. And that's the genius of Tom Brady. That's why he became the GOAT. It wasn't because he put up numbers and won 7 Super Bowls. Yes, that's great. But the fact that he could get so many men to go along with what he was saying and say, look, guys,
yeah.
we're going to do it this way because that's the way it, and again, the Patriot way. What a remarkable career.
Think about this, Eric. Think about this. What if he had that perfect offensive line every season with a receiver, say an Edelman and a Gronk every season,
And the Randy
or a
Moss. Yeah.
Moss?
Yeah.
I mean, think about what he could have had. He could have had two more that we know of.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Look, the loss to Indianapolis, that was one that I think got stolen from them. They went for it on a 4th down, and they would have went to that Super Bowl. And Chicago was definitely getting beat by either Indianapolis or New England that year.
Right.
So that was definitely one. The two Giants losses, as painful as they were, again, you think about the 2011 team. That team was not very good. He was able to get them to a Super Bowl, but
Yeah.
you see so many different things about Tom Brady that remarkably, in my lifetime, has meant so much. I remember that first Super Bowl. I
Yeah.
remember I never in a million years believed that we were ever going to win a Super Bowl in New England. It was
Yeah.
just we were that franchise.
I remember back in the day with Grogan and Tony Eason and the whole cast of characters that they've had. Um, then Bledsoe came along and kind of changed.
Gave you a little hope,
Yeah, it
right?
gave us a
A
little
little
hope.
hope.
And to be honest with you, I think that first Super Bowl, I think they would have won with Drew Bledsoe as well. I think they would. They were that good. They were that good. And I think they would have won with him as well, but they don't win any other with Drew Bledsoe, because Tom Brady just excelled. And, when you look back at that first Super Bowl, that team had to be, in my eyes, the best team that probably won a championship.
That when we talk about team, it was the first time in NFL history that a team was announced as a team during the
Right.
Super Bowl. They back in the day for us old
Yep.
schoolers, it was either an offense or defense got named, and they're the ones that ran
Yeah.
out onto the field. The New England Patriots refused to do that. They said we're going to run out as a team. That was a lot of that was because of Tom Brady
Right.
and what he meant to the team aspect of it. That it wasn't just us. It wasn't just me, it was us. It was all of us. All of us had to do it together. And I will tell you, I've been a Patriot fan since '85. Once,
Ooh,
you
that's a
know,
good point, Austin.
the
That's a very good point.
yes,
Do you think he'll sign a 1-day contract with the Pats? I mean, I would love to see it. I hope he does. I don't know if Brady would do that kind of a thing, though. I think
it doesn't seem like it'd be his style,
no, I don't think it
but
would be his style.
it's definitely one of the things you got to say. Listen, he's a New England Patriot through and through.
Yeah,
There's never going to be, and there's the debate about, when he went to Tampa Bay that New England won 7, which, again, we know how I feel about that. But there's so many people that just will always think of
yeah.
Tom Brady as a New England Patriot.
Oh, absolutely,
I'm sure
absolutely.
there's going to be a massive ceremony in Foxborough, and the retirement, the red jacket. He's a
Yep.
guaranteed Hall of Famer in the New England Patriots Hall of Fame.
Uh,
Obviously, in 5 years, he'll be in the NFL Hall of Fame. So I think you could see it.
Wait, they're not going to waive that?
No, they should have done it while he was playing. I told you. But again, it's one of those things where if you sit back and you think about what he means to an organization, I don't even think they need to do that. I don't even think it's necessary because
Yeah,
honestly, his number's locked and loaded for New England for the rest of his life.
yeah.
TB12 became TB12 in New England.
I mean, when you think about it, I mean that sports hall of that sports Mount Rushmore kind of thing. There's two guys that really sit on that Mount Rushmore that we know of. The other two is always up for debate. I mean, when you look at it, it's Michael and Tom, and they're just wondering who's really supposed to be next to them. And everybody's going to have that debate about who it should be. I think Wayne Gretzky is along the side of those two because I think he's actually the more dominating in any sport than
Yes.
ever. But there's always going to be that debate on who belongs up there. In the NFL, there's no debate. There's no debate,
Yeah.
and he's clearly the best ever. I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just amazing what he's accomplished in his career. I mean, look, we know it is very difficult to get to a Super Bowl, and
To
this
get
man
to
has done
10,
it.
right?
Yeah,
10
this,
times.
this
10 times.
I mean, that's just mind-boggling to even think that he's got more than any franchise. So
Yeah. Yeah. Kenny's able to join us now. Kenny, thank you. Obviously, breaking news: Tom Brady retiring from the NFL, and we've been just discussing what he's meant to New England, what he's meant to the NFL in general. Any thoughts or opinions that you may have?
I wish he would have really retired as a Patriot, but it's never too late. But outstanding career. He's one of the greatest of all time. He's just unbelievable.
Look, and again, we were getting into it during the Austin comment, but I've been a fan since '85, the Grogan year when they first got to the
yep,
to the Super Bowl, and
Yeah.
there were many bad years in between that, and then
a
to
lot.
Ron's point, when you got
Yeah.
Bill Parcells and they started to build something, but I still never really felt they would ever win one. And the first one that they won, and I remember I couldn't look at the Vinatieri kick. I was sitting there and I turned my back and I just told people, "Tell me if it went in. Just tell me if it went in." And then I was curled up in the fetal position on the floor, crying. As a grown man crying, but it would just meant so much. And that's what Tom Brady became for the New England fans. It was that guy that you just sit back and everybody that talked trash about New England. And we could always sit back and say, you know what, though? We got Tom Brady. What do you have? We have
Yeah.
Tom Brady. And he made us feel cocky. We felt like we were invincible because we knew he didn't want to lose. He wasn't going to let us lose. And it just made us as Patriot fans change our whole mentality on the NFL. Now we were the dynasty. We were the great team. We
Yeah.
were the team that everybody aspired to be. Tom Brady did that for New England football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just an amazing career.
And
23.
and the question of, some athletes and why they do things, right? There's no question about their desire to win. Um, but when you look at it, okay, so it's money. It's money. It's money. Always a factor in where people sign. Tom Brady, he always signed for less because he knows that's what it takes to make a championship team. Unlike Green Bay that are facing, Aaron Rodgers always with these big contracts, and this is why. This is why you can't get a championship caliber team if your salaries are just going to be outrageous as a quarterback. And what does that leave room for? It leaves
not a
room for
heck of a lot.
mediocrity.
Yeah.
And I don't care what anybody says. There's no way I put Aaron Rodgers in the same conversation as a Tom Brady. Never. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
He did a lot of sacrificing.
Oh,
That's right.
absolutely. So
Did a lot of
obviously
sacrificing.
meant something to all of us. If you don't mind, would you each want to share a particular story about Tom Brady? Maybe one story that meant more to you than any other?
See, I like, and this is kind of sounds weird. I like when I see him on the sidelines, maybe berating players or whatever it is.
That doesn't
And it's
sound weird
not
for you.
no, and it's taking it wrong because it means so much to him. And the players know this. They know that they're getting yelled at by Tom Brady, but they're getting yelled at by Tom Brady because his desire to win, and it's that desire to win that that I don't know. It just I love it that he was in New England all his career. I love players that just want to win and really don't have to move to go do it.
Yeah. No, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Kenny,
Yeah.
is there a particular Tom Brady
Yeah.
story that?
Yeah. I it was a couple years ago, and it was a playoff game. And you know how Brady is. He gets electrified. He gets really. And I don't know if you remember this on Twitter. It was a picture of him in the stadium, and it's one quote he said. He said, "I'm ready for this place to come alive." And that playoff game, he played his heart out, and that crowd was so electric. This is how big this guy is. He sends out a tweet, and a whole crowd, the whole stadium, and he comes out to Jay-Z, and the whole crowd, the whole stadium comes electric. This is how big this guy is.
Yeah, that's the point. It's like everything he says has meaning, and we know the kind of guy that he is on the field. We know the kind of guy he is. There is nobody that wants it more than Tom Brady. I've never seen anyone in sports that is like that.
Yeah. No, and Austin commented on your particular memory, Ron, and he said after the yelling on the sidelines, right, they'd always drive down the field and score. Like it was almost a
my God,
guarantee,
yeah.
like you knew it was going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
And that's that. My story is actually a little bit of a different one where it was the Super Bowl against Atlanta. And when we were down big, my wife, who graced me to watch it because she didn't like watching football with me because I get very animated. And I'm sitting back and I'm slouched in the chair and I'm like, this game's over. No team's ever come back from 10 points or more. I'm like, it's over. I'm done. I'm like, it's over. And she just looked at me and she goes, it's not over. She says, just wait. And I'm like, you don't know football. Like you've not watched football. You don't watch football. They're not coming back. This game's ridiculous. So then they score one and she's like, just wait. And I'm like, it's not going to happen. It's like they made the score respectable, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the game when they won it, I had to look at her and I had to apologize
Yeah.
because I said I doubted Tom Brady.
Yeah,
And
I've
she
never.
didn't. And she didn't even know football. She just knew who Tom Brady was.
I didn't even doubt him in that
Oh,
Dallas game this season. Like
You just right. You still always had that
you
belief, like no
always
matter
had
what,
that feeling,
Tom Brady
yeah.
could do this.
right?
And I think this is the first time we saw it right at the end of his career where, okay, maybe he couldn't, and maybe he felt that way, and that's why he announced that retirement now. But it's just amazing to think about that he meant so much to so many different people because he spanned so many different time frames, right? I think he was the only one they said to win a Super Bowl in 3 different decades. It's like just you think about all the accomplishments he's had.
Yeah, it just
Honestly, I
goes
think that
on
was
and
the
on.
game plan for the Super Bowl. Yeah, to let him, to make him be
Yeah,
able the
'cause
greatest
I
comeback of all time. It may be
remember.
Austin. It may have been.
Yeah, because I remember the thinking, okay, they're getting blown out, but if Tom can just score one, it could get the things in motion, right? And that's
Yep.
what I was looking for. And then he scores, and I look at all of my friends, and I'm like, they're gonna do this. And it unfolded, right in front of my eyes, and I'm like, this is just the most amazing thing I've ever seen in sports. Most
Yeah,
amazing thing.
I don't think we'll ever see anything that amazing again. I mean, 28-3, it'll live in infamy in Atlanta, but it was just one of those things that you just sit back and think about all the great things he did. And I could sit back and say, hey, that first one, but that one there was the first time I had a doubt, like it's over, like, maybe he's done, maybe they're washed up, the Patriot dynasty's over. And then it was like, it takes somebody who doesn't even really watch football. I don't miss a game. You guys don't miss a game.
Yep.
We watch football. We know, we understand it. And it was like somebody who just says, okay, well, that's Tom Brady. Tom Brady doesn't lose. And you're like, Tom Brady can lose. Like it could happen. And then you're, wait, okay, maybe he can't, so even in those Super Bowls that he did lose against the Giants, you still always had that hope. If you give Tom Brady the ball at the end, there's the shot. There's a chance. We got a shot to win this. He's not going to lose a game. Just a remarkable career when you think about the numbers as well. 251 and 82 in his career in the regular season. 64.3% completion percentage, 89,214 yards, 649 touchdowns, only 212 interceptions. So, yes, he slung the ball around a lot, but he didn't make mistakes. In his playoff career, 35 and 13. That's pretty good. That 48 playoff games, 62.
Wait, does anybody
0.5.
have 35 wins?
No, I think there's one franchise that might be tied or one game ahead. I think that's the stat I saw. Like, there's one franchise that had like 36 wins in the playoffs.
That's crazy.
He's had almost as many as franchises. 13,400 yards passing, 88 touchdowns, 40 interceptions. And you think about when you get into the playoffs, right? You're playing the best of the best. Usually those teams are the top teams in the league. So what he was able to do in the playoffs, regular season, it didn't matter. 7-time champion, 5-time Super Bowl MVP, 15-time Pro Bowler. Ron, this one blew my mind, though, because we talk about All-Pro as being the greatest at that position. He was only a 3-time All-Pro.
Yeah, go figure.
Right? You think the league had something against him that he's a 3-time
Oh,
All-Pro?
absolutely. He should have won MVP, last year.
Yeah. Yep. 3-time AP MVP, 3-time PFWA MVP, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year, 2-time SN Offensive Player of the Year, 2-time PFWA Offensive Player of the Year.
But see, this is what the impressive thing is. He doesn't have those, those balloon numbers for a season, compared to maybe one or two other players. One or two other players almost always have more stats than him every season. We've seen it with Peyton Manning. We've seen it with Aaron Rodgers. But there's one difference between those two guys and Tom Brady, and that is fear. And what I mean by that is when Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers are afraid to lose, they don't face down fear. Tom Brady faces down fear. He's not he is afraid to lose, but he faces it down, and there is no one that does that better than Tom Brady because he really wants to defeat the fear of losing. And that's the desire to win so much. And I'm sorry, when Peyton Manning was afraid, you saw what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry, he's not that effective when he feels like his team isn't as good.
No, and Austin just comment and championship rings. I think I remember that comment probably better than anything was when they asked him which ring's your favorite. He said the next one.
Yeah.
It was never about what he just did. It was like we put that in the past and we go on and to the next one because I don't want to continue.
Because that next one is the first one.
Yeah. There was a story this morning. Teddy Bruschi was talking about it on TV, and he said one of his favorite stories was they had just won their second Super Bowl, the back-to-backs, 2003, 2004. And back in those days, the guys used to play the Pro Bowl after the Super Bowl, and they actually played. And Tom was there, Bruschi, he said Seymour, Vinatieri, a couple of the other guys, Larry Izzo, I believe. And he goes up to Bruschi and them guys, and he says, listen, guys, nobody's ever won 3 in a row. And they're like, can we just relax? We just won. We're in the Pro Bowl. We're in Hawaii. Like, just relax, Tom. Like, just take it easy. Like, we'll talk about it after. And he was already thinking about, hey, nobody's ever won 3 in a row. Like, that was his mentality. It was just something about him that said, look, it's always about the next thing. It wasn't about, what we just did, because he was never satisfied with it. It didn't. He had
as soon
that
as he walks off
competitive
that field, it's a past now. It's the past.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. So I guess this story will be part of our story on Friday as well. But I will ask you guys if there's anything else you'd like to share before we break air here. Obviously, breaking news: Tom Brady announced his retirement just about an hour ago. He said it's official now. It is a done deal. It is 100% like he is done.
Fox.
I think he's on to Fox. Yes, he's on to Fox, not on to Cincinnati at this point. But
wait, Fox is the one with Rex Ryan, correct?
No, that's ESPN.
Oh, that's too bad. I would have liked to see them two
he's
together.
down with Brad Shaw, maybe him and TBs. They'll do a TV segment, but he's going to be in the booth.
No, I don't think Terry Bradshaw is going to be there, to be honest with you, after his
yeah, we always think that. I don't know
comments
with Fox. But anything else you'd like to leave us with, gentlemen, before we break air and do this all on Friday?
Look, I just want to say thank you. Tom, thank you. That's it. I mean, without him, where would we be in New England? Where would we be? We would have no championships in any of those sports.
I wouldn't have.
I truly believe that.
I wouldn't have that picture right there.
You're right. Yeah, I hear you. Yep.
Kenny, anything?
Yeah. Same. I'm with Ron. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the championships. Thank you for the parades.
Yeah. I think I have the same sentiment. Thank you for allowing me to talk smack to people and feeling pretty confident that I was going to be right most of the time, because he allowed me to talk some smack.
No, Austin, that is priceless.
Yes, we would have been in the same category as the Jets without Tom. Thank you for not letting us be the New York Jets.
Yes.
Or the Detroit Lions or any of those franchises that really stunk. Thank you for that.
Cleveland.
Thank you the NFL community honestly was so lucky to have been a part of this. We've got to witness some great athletes in our lifetime. And you think about some of the greats we may not have gotten to see, like the Wilts and the Bill Russells playing their time, and right? But we've gotten to see Jordan, who may be considered maybe the greatest of all time in basketball. Wayne Gretzky, the greatest of all time in the NHL, and Tom Brady, the greatest of all time in the NFL. We've got to see some of the greats that some of these kids we're so lucky to be a part of. Some of these kids don't even know losing like we did in New England because of Tom Brady. And
Right.
that means so much to the NFL and what that community was able to gain. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining me for this breaking news. Austin, thank you for being a part of it. I know Austin's a big Patriot fan as well. So thank you for joining us. Tom Brady announces his retirement after 23 seasons in the NFL today, making it official with an announcement on a social media platform. Check it out. It's pretty emotional to hear him speak. You could tell he fought back some tears because I think he finally realized that it's over. But what a great ride it was. Thank you so much for the memories. Sports Unfolded, we appreciate the fact that you gave us so many things to talk about. And we'll see you all on Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter. And follow that social media on our little ticker there to be able to get some more sports insight. Guys, I'll see you on Friday. You guys take care.